To Greece now, where a huge dust cloud from the Sahara Desert has engulfed large parts of the country. In Athens, the Acropolis was no longer visible, and meteorologists have compared the thick orange haze to the view on planet Mars. It's the worst incident of this kind in Greece since 2018. Anyone with a respiratory condition has been advised to stay indoors, wear protective masks, and avoid exercising until the air clears. The Sahara releases 60 to 200 metric tons of mineral dust a year. While the largest particles come rapidly back down to Earth, the smallest can travel thousands of kilometers, potentially reaching all of Europe. Well, let's bring in our Rise correspondent, Lape Olarinoye, who joins me now from London. Good to see you, Lape. So clouds of dust blowing in from the Sahara and engulfing large parts of Greece. Tell us more.
Scenes happening in Greece. As you can see from the pictures, that orange haze has completely covered the majority of Greece. In fact, mostly affecting places like Crete and other regions across Greece. Now, there has said to be about 20 to 25 wildfires as a result of this as well. But the Greeks are no strangers to this, as you rightly pointed out there, that this is the worst that's been happening since 2018. But actually, it's a time of the year when it's this type of weather is frequented. It tends to happen much more later in spring and in autumn. So it's very unusual to see it this time of the year. Having said that, though, it did occur back in March and earlier this month. And so this is something that has gradually gotten worse. As you rightly pointed out earlier as well, people have been evacuated, including schools and anybody that's high risk who have been encouraged to stay at home. But it's not just Greece that's been affected. When this started, it was said to have gone as far as parts of Switzerland as well as France. So it is starting to touch the rest of Europe. But there is a bit of a silver lining in the sky, and no pun intended there, because it is said to all clear up from today and towards the end of the week. But that's not saying this orange haze might not be on the horizon as the months get further and further.
And I wonder if this has anything to do with climate change. I mean, what are the experts saying?
That is always the million-dollar question, isn't it? Now, every time we see strange weather, adverse conditions, what has climate change got to do with this? So far, the meteorologists are saying this is usually a normal thing coming from the Sahara. Dust particles always coming from the Sahara, but it's getting stranger and stranger. But the intensity of it, as you can see, is happening at a different time of the year. And how widespread and how far it's going is, of course, being caused by climate change. There's no doubt that there is a serious influence of climate change in all of these weather changes, these adverse weather changes. And whether it's normal or not, the intensity and the frequency of it can definitely be attributed to lifestyle attitudes and behaviors that are contributing to increased global warming coming from the Sahara, and of course leading to more of that toxic air coming in straight from the Sahara. So in answer to your question, climate change does have an impact, although it's worth adding here, this is very normal kind of pictures for Greece. But like I said, the intensity and the time of the year that it's happening and how far it's spread is definitely unusual.
And we need to emphasize again, Lape, although I know you touched on it earlier, that a health warning is out there for people with regard to breathing risks, especially for people with underlying health problems.
Certainly, the air quality is something that has been majorly affected as a result of this orange haze. And for many people with respiratory issues, just like we were told back during the COVID pandemic to stay at home, to restrict their outdoor movements and to try and stay as ventilated as possible at home. In some of the reports I've also come across, there has been a sense of evacuation for children as well. I'm not sure what those links are. They're not clear just yet, but children have also been evacuated from school, possibly because they spend a lot of time outdoors and play outside, and the impact on young lungs could be severe. So they have also been told to stay indoors, and that will continue until this orange haze is completely cleared up. And as you can imagine, the air quality that is already bad as it is, being affected by this will be quite damaging for people who already have lung issues, asthmatic illnesses as well as much more. So the health advice is to stay at home until this is all cleared up. And especially for those who are in areas like Crete, which have become more prone to wildfires. And of course, the evacuations there have also increased. The emergency services are on standby and on alert to get out to people that might be in high alert areas of these wildfires as well.
And just briefly, in terms of understanding why this is hitting Greece, I mean, I guess it's important to understand the geography. Greece is in southern Europe, which is close to the tip of North Africa, where the Sahara Desert is located.
Absolutely. The location is very crucial. And I think that is why typically Greece tends to get a lot of holiday makers, because of how warm it gets during the summer. Of course, the warmth definitely comes directly from North Africa. The proximity to the Sahara has benefited Greece's weather over the years. But in terms of its proximity to adverse weather issues, this is one of them. Like I said, the tons of dust of Saharan desert dust that have come in have obviously come from it's a southerly gust, and that's why Greece has been mainly affected. But like I said, this can continue to spread to other areas like southern France and Switzerland, which also tend to get very warmer temperatures as well. And so for that reason, Greece has become a prime location for these kinds of adverse weather conditions coming directly from North Africa, where the sun and the heat is coming from.
Well, very interesting, if a bit worrying. Thanks very much indeed for bringing that to our attention. Lape Olarinoye is a RISE correspondent. She was talking to me there from London.